Hello. To this session, I've just solved this NEET test 82 right now. It's almost 5:30 am now, and here with the physics analysis. This was one of the easier paper. I solved it with quite ease. I have regarded only 2 as tough, and that might not be that too tough to you. 21 were medium. For 14th, I think the data is too close to make out in the options, and 22 were easy. So it's actually the questions were more or less except this 31 Poiseuille's equation question. Otherwise, all are quite regular questions that you should do. So it should be the paper in which you should score. I think anyone decent in physics should get 135 marks in this, and those who are aspiring for good rank should get 165 plus score in this paper. This is the paper to score. Just leave 1-2 questions. Rest all are quite simple to solve. So let's see what is in this paper. So let's begin. When an electron jumps from a higher energy to a lower energy state with an energy difference of delta eV, what is the wavelength of the spectral line? You know that is 1240 eV nanometer. So that would be 1240 upon delta E nanometer, or you can go for 1240, or if you have to increase that power 12375, it would be in angstrom. One power you have increased 1240 or 12375 doesn't hardly matters, because that's also an approximation. Now the transition from 4 to 3 in a hydrogen like atom results in UV radiation. Infrared radiation will be obtained as, so it is UV. So for infrared the energy difference has to be less. Now in 2:1 energy difference will be more, 3:2 more, 4:2 more, so less will only be in 5:4. You know the difference between 2:1 is greater than between 3:2 is greater than between 4:3 is greater than between 5:4. So that logic you are using it here. On the first 3 options will have more energy difference, the D will only have the less energy difference. Now you have 2 bodies having masses of the ratio 3:1 have same kinetic energy. The ratio of their momentas is, so what I can say, P is equal to root 2 mk for a body. So I can write this PB upon PA would be equal to under root of MB upon MA. So MB upon MA, this is MA upon MB, so MB upon MA would be 1:3 root. So go by option C, again an easy one for you. Next, you have a truck of mass 10 metric ton running at a speed of 3 along a track collides with a loaded truck of 20 metric ton standing at rest. If these two coupled together, the common speed is. So let it mass be m. It was running with speed u. Now this loaded truck has double the mass, so let's say it would be 2m, and because it's a perfectly inelastic collision, what I can write from conservation of momentum, mu plus 0 would be equal to m plus 2m into final velocity. So final velocity comes out as u by 3. That would be 1 meter per second in this particular case. Next, a particle goes in a circle of radius 30 centimeter. Its linear speed increases by v equal to 2t. So linear speed is increasing, so what I can write, tangential acceleration as rate of change of speed, that would be 2 meter per second square. Now v is in meter per second. Find out the radial and tangential acceleration at 3 seconds. So tangential at every time is 2. So from here only you can make the option. Let's calculate AC also, a radial or AC, that would be v square by r. So v at 3 second would be that is 2 3 the 6 square upon 0.3, that is 36 upon 0.3, that comes out as 120 meter per second square. So go for option C. Next, in a non-uniform circular motion, the ratio of tangential to radial acceleration is, r is radius, u is speed, alpha is angular acceleration. So first of all, AT is, you know, is alpha r, AC you know is equal to u square by r, AC or a radial, whatever you write it, AR, that is u square by r. So if I do that, AT by a radial, that will come out as alpha r square by u square. So I'll go for option C. So again an easy one, not a tough one. Next, you have 2 ampere current flows through a 2 ohm resistor when connected across a battery. Same battery supplies half an ampere when connected across a 9 ohm. The internal resistance is, so let's say 2 ampere would be E upon small r plus 2. 0.5 is equal to E upon small r plus 9. Divide both. The 2 upon 0.5 is 4. 4 is equal to r plus 9 upon r plus 2. 4r plus 8 is r plus 9. So this 3r is equal to 1. So resistance internal comes out to be 1 by 3 ohms. Go by option E. Next, potentiometer wire which is 10 meter long has a resistance of 40 ohms. Okay, connected in series with a box resistance box and 2 volt cell. If the potential gradient across the wire is this, the resistance unplugged is. So if potential gradient is this, the potentiometer along the potentiometer wire, let's say VAV, typically we write, that would be equal to 0.1 milli, means 10 to the power minus 3 upon centimeter, 10 to the power minus 2 into 10 meters. So this would be that much volt. so it comes out as 0.1 volt. So 40 ohm resistor has a drop of 0.1 volt, so current would be 0.1 upon 40 amperes, and that should be equals to 2 upon resistance and plugged in box plus resistance of the wire, that is 40. So what do you have? 80 would be equals to 0.1 R plus 4, so 76 is equal to 0.1 R, so R equals to 760 ohms. So go for option B. Next, an AC source of angular frequency omega is fed across a resistor R and a capacitor C. If current is I, now frequency changed to omega by 3, voltage same, then current becomes half. Then the ratio of reactance to resistance, okay, reactance to resistance at original frequency is, okay. So what we know, reactance XC is equal to 1 upon omega C. So if you make omega 1/3, XC will become 3 times. So in first case, current is I, let's say reactance, the total impedance is Z, that would be equal to XC square plus R square. This is the first equation. In the second case, because current is half, that means the impedance is doubled and frequency is 1/3, so XC will become thrice of XC, so it will become 9XC square, because XC dash now is 3XC, so 9XC square plus R square. So now divide both, so let's say square and divide, then 4 by 1 would be equal to 9XC square plus R square upon XC square plus R square. So what you have, 4XC square plus 4R square is 9XC square plus R square. So you have 3R square equal to 5XC square. So the ratio XC by R, reactance to resistance, comes out to be 3 by 5 under root. Go by option A. Next, in an AC circuit, the current is 3 ampere and the voltage is 210. Power is 63, the power factor is. So the written values typically are the RMS value, you know. So P is VRMS, IRMS, cos phi. So this power factor cos phi would be P 63 upon 3 into 210. So this is 21, that comes out as 1 by 10, that is 0.10. So go by option D here. Next, 7 capacitors each of 2 microfarad capacity connected in a configuration to obtain an effective 10 by 11, which will achieve, okay. So here we have these two in series, so that would be 1, and what we have here, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, so that will become 10. So 10 and 1 in series, so 10 into 1 upon 10 plus 1, that is 10 by 11. So the first one, we are lucky, we tried with the first one and the first one came out to be the correct one. Next, the net force acting on Q naught will be, so what we have, 1, 2, 3, 4, we have at all corners. So by symmetry we have, if we have n equal forces such that each having an angle 2 pi by n between them, magnitude is same because distance is same, so resultant is going to be 0. You have done it many times, so that is going to be 0. Okay, not 0 here because 1 is left. Okay, so 1 is left, so no issue. What we can say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So what we had, F1 plus F2 plus, if all forces were acting, then it would have been 0. But Fc is not present, so F6 is not present, that means F1 plus F2 plus F3 plus F4 plus F5 is the resultant, and from above that would be equal to minus of F6. So if it would have been Q, it would have exerted this force KQ Q naught by A square, so the resultant of these 5 will be like this. So this would be the net resultant, assuming all are positive. So that net force I can directly write as KQ Q naught upon A square, and towards that empty corner. Towards that empty corner, so KQ Q naught by A square. So as per this option, this is D that I am not able to take the screenshot. It is KQ Q naught by A square, so go for option D here. So be careful, this was empty, I would have taken 0 otherwise. Mass M is split into 2 parts, small m, capital M minus m, which are then separated by a certain distance. The ratio which maximizes the force, you know, is equal to 1:1. The m is to m minus 1 is 1:1, so m is to m would be 1:2. How you do this? Let's say this is m, this is m minus m. Let's say separation is r. So force, you write it as g m into m minus m by r square. So to maximize this force, what we have to do, df by dm, do it as 0. Let me write it as gmm minus gm square by r square. So if I differentiate it, so g by r square comes, it will become capital M minus 2m, that should be 0. That means m is equals to twice of m, or m by m equals to 1/2. So you can do by this. This is a standard case. Same question comes for electrostatic. A charge is divided into 2, so maximum force would be when the division is equal. So that is the way we will do. Next, new planet is discovered rotating around the sun with the orbital radius double of the Earth. So we know t square is proportional to r cube. So if orbital radius is doubled, t will become 2 to the power 3 by 2. So that time period of that planet would be 2 to the power 3 by 2 into sun's period, which is 365 days. That is 2 into 1.4 into 365. That is 2.8 into 365. 28 5s are 140. 28 6 are 168 and 14. That is 182. 28 3s are, we have 84, 84 and 18, 1022. So it would be 102, sorry, not 1022, 102. So that answer would be 1022.0, that is 1022 days. So going by the option, it would be 1023 days. We can go for the closest one here. Okay, now here's a issue, because options are very close, 23, 24, this is not right. This is really not right, because if I take it as 1.414, I think the answer will change. So if I take with 1.414, let me do with the calculator, because I have done this much. I am not in the mood to do this again. So if I do this, it would be 1.414. Let me do 1.414 into 2 into 365. That is 1032. So I don't know what to do. So they should have written the value. So 1023 can be justified, 1032 can be justified. The option shouldn't have been that closer. It's not right. Otherwise they should have written take root 2 as 1.414. Next, what we have, ideal gas is taken through a series of changes P1 V1 to 4 times P1 V1, where it is V1 P1 to 4 times P1 V1 like this, and then from P1 3 V1 represented in the figure. The net work done by the gas at the end of the cycle. Okay, so at the end of the cycle, so I am assuming that end of the cycle, their meaning is like this one, because cycle means complete cycle. So what we will see is the work done is equal to area under the curve, that would be equal to half. This gap is 3P1, this gap is 2V1. So what you will have as 3P1 V1, and because it is clockwise, it would be plus. So 3P1 V1 you can go for. Next, an ideal gas is expanding such that Pt square is constant. The coefficient of volume expansion of the gas is going to be. So what you are given? P into T square is constant, volume expansion. What is this volume expansion? That volume expansion thing that you write is gamma is 1 upon V dV by dt, that you need to find out. Now, I think we have done this again also. So P into T square is constant. I can write P as nRT by V into T square is constant. We have got the relation between T and V. So what you get? T cube is proportional to V, or T cube V to the power minus 1 is going to be constant. So if I differentiate it with respect to, let's say, with respect to T, what I will have, 3T square by V, I can write dt plus dt, no need to write dt because we are with respect to T, plus what will write T cube, 1 by V will give me 1 by V, derivative will give me minus 1 by V square dV by dt equal to 0. So what we are left with, we will be 3 by V, okay, 3, let me write complete, 3T square by V is T cube upon V square dV by dt. So going by this, what we will have, 1 by V dV by dt, that is what we needed, that will come out as 3 by T. So go by option C here. So it would be 3 by T in this case. Next, the value of sink temperature when the efficiency of the engine is 100%. You know, efficiency is 1 minus Tc by Th. So for it to become 1, Tc has to be 0, which is not attainable. But let's say in this question you just asked, so it should be 0. Next, electron beams at the velocity in the ratio 1:2 are subjected to same transverse field. The ratio of their magnetic field is, so radius we know is equal to mv by qb. So m is same, q is same, b is same, so radius is proportional to v, that is 1:2. That's an easy one. Next, current I flows along the length of an infinite long straight thin walled pipe like this. Then because it is only on the periphery, we know that all the inside points I enclosed is 0. So inside point, the magnetic field will be 0 inside all the points. Though it's different at different points, is 0 at any point inside the pipe is 0. Again, this is repeated one. This has been asked before. Next, When a bar magnet is placed at 90 degree to a uniform field, it is acted upon by a couple which is maximum. You know that is mb. For the couple to be half, we know torque is mb sin theta, so it is maximum at 90 degree, and maximum at half of maximum would be sin theta is half, that is theta is equal to 30 degrees or 150 degrees. So go for option A here. That's again an easy one. Next, 21st. A motorboat covers a given distance in 6 hours moving downstream of a river. Okay. If it covers the same distance in 10 hours moving upstream, the time it takes to cover the same distance in still water is. So first what you can say, let's say distance be d. When it is going downstream, it would be velocity of boat with respect to river. Let me like this. This is velocity of boat with respect to river plus velocity of river, that is 6 hours. In the second case, it would be VBR minus VR because it is going upstream, that is 10 hour. So what we have now, we can directly say VBR minus VR, dividing it VBR plus VR, that is 3 by 5, 6 by 10, that is 3 by 5. So 5 VBR minus 5 times VR is 3 VBR plus 3 VR. So what we are left with? We are left with is 2 VBR is equal to 8 times VR. So VBR is equal to 4 VR. So the time it will take to cover the same distance in still water is. So what we can say in the still water, the time would be d upon VBR. D upon VBR you can write it as d upon 4 VR, and this distance I can write as d upon 5 VR. So d upon 5 VR was 6, so d upon 4 VR would be, I can directly say 1 upon 4 into d by VR, which is 6 5s are what we can say 30. 30 by 4 is 7.5 hours. So go for option B in this particular case. Next, a particle is moving with velocity k times y I cap plus x j cap, where k is a constant. The general equation for its path is, okay. So what would be the general equation for its path? So how can we do this? Now what I can say here, Vx is k times y, Vy is k times x. This is equal to dx by dt, it is equal to ky. This is dy by dt, that is equal to kx. So if I divide both, I can write dy by dx is equal to x by y. So y dy is equal to x dx. Do the integration, that is y square by 2 is equal to x square by 2 plus c, that is y square equal to x square plus constant. Go by option D here. So next, 23rd. The coefficient of friction between two surfaces is 0.8, the tension in the string is. So what you have, mu s is equal to 0.8, and 1030 degree you know is equal to 1 by root 3, definitely less than 0.8. So that means if there was no attachment, then also the block wouldn't go down. So that means there is no need to hold it, the friction is sufficient. So friction will be acting static, and that would be equal to mg sin theta, and there would be no need of this tension will be 0 in this particular case. Next, block of mass m is resting on a smooth horizontal plane. One end of a uniform rope of mass m by 4 is fixed to the block, which pulled into the horizontal direction by a force F at the other end. The tension at the midpoint of the rope is, okay. So this is m by 4, and it is pulled with a force F. So first of all, taking complete as a system, acceleration would be in this direction, that would be F upon 5m by 4, that is 4f by 5m. Now if you find the tension at midpoint, better take this system. So this mass will become m by 8, this will become m. This tension is the only horizontal force on this reduced mass system. This T would be equals to now m plus m by 8 into the acceleration. So that is 9m by 8 into acceleration, which is 4f by 5m. So what you are left with? You are left with 9 cancel, 9f. Let me write it clearly. This would be 9f upon a 5 2s are 10. 9f by 10m that I can go for. So go for option, but m cancel, sorry. So 9f by 10. So go for option C. Next, the tirade of nuclei that is isotonic is. Isotonic means the number of neutrons must be same. Here neutron is 0, so it cannot be with anyone. Here 235 92 and here 237 92, there will be different, so no point. 40 18 40 19 different, no point. 14 6 15 7, this increases by 1, this increases by 1, difference remains same. This increases by 1, this increases by 1, difference remains same. So in all three, that difference, what we write as a minus z is equal to 14 minus 6, that is 8. So this is going to be option D first three are not possible. Next, a sample of iodide ion was administered to a patient in a carrier consisting of 0.1 mg of stable ion. After 4 days, 67.7% of initial radioactivity was detected in the thyroid gland. The percentage of stable iodine ion that had migrated to the thyroid gland if T12 for the iodide is 8 days. Okay. So 0.1 milligram of stable. So that 0.1 milligram of stable was given, and after 4 days, 67.7% of initial radioactivity was detected in the thyroid gland. The percentage of stable iodide that has migrated. So initial activity is 67.7% after 4 days. So first of all, after 4 days, what would be the activity originally of the complete sample? So original activity of this would be, what I can say, it would be R0 upon 2 to the power 4 by 8. That is R0 upon root 2. That you can say is 0.707 R0 you can say. So out of this 67.7%, that means in thyroid gland you have 0.677 R0 you are getting. So that means if I do in the terms of the percentage, it would be 0.677 upon 0.707 of the activity into 100. So that is basically in the thyroid gland what we have. So this basically comes out to be, this is very very high. It can only be 95.7% types. So this activity is in thyroid gland. That means the total iodide ion has this much has been migrated to the thyroid gland. So you can directly go for 95.7. I have not solved it, but I can make it. It is greater than 90% in this case. Next, particle of mass m is executing oscillation about the origin with amplitude a. Potential energy is this. The x coordinate of mass where potential energy is 1/3 the kinetic energy of the particle is. Okay. So amplitude is a, that means the total mechanical energy of accelerations is alpha a to the power 4. Now x coordinate where potential energy is 1/3 the kinetic energy. So u is 1 by 3 of k, and you know u plus k is equal to alpha a to the power 4. So I can write k as 3u, so that is 4u is alpha a to the power 4. So 4 into alpha x to the power 4 is alpha a to the power 4. So what you have, x to the power 4 is a to the power 4 by 4. So x would be a upon 4 to the power 1 by 4, that is a upon, you can directly say root 2. It could be plus minus both, because if you take the root, so it would be plus minus a by root 2. That would be the answer that we will be going for. Next, the displacement x of a particle in performing SHM is related to time t like this. The frequency is, you can directly say this is omega. Omega is 4 pi, frequency is omega by 2 pi, that is 2 hertz. That is 4 pi by 2, that is 2 hertz. So go for option D here. Next, UV radiation of 6.2 falls on aluminium. The kinetic energy of the fastest electron, you can directly say K max is E minus 5, that is 2 eV. 2 eV if converted is 3.2 into 10 to the power minus 19 joule. Go for option C. Next, light of two different frequencies, photon having 1 eV, 2.5 eV, illuminate a surface of 0.5 eV. So in first case, K1 max would be 1 minus 0.5, that is 0.5 eV. K2 max would be 2.5 minus 0.5, that is 2 eV. So this has become 4 times, so speed will become 2 times, 1:2. Again, this is third or fourth time I am solving the same question in this anti-abhyas test. Next, the rate of steady volume flow of water through a capillary tube of length and r under a pressure difference of P is V. The tube is connected with another tube of same length but half the radius in series, then the rate of steady volume flow through them is. Okay, the pressure difference across the combination is P. So again, this is Poiseuille's equation. The rate of flow V you write as pi into delta P, r to the power 4p is the pressure across the difference across the end, 8 neta times L. So this is what you have written it. So the pressure difference P, you can write it as 8 neta L V upon pi r to the power 4. Now, so in series, what would be the pressure difference across both? What I can say, the P would be equals to pressure across 1 plus pressure across 2. Okay, now, so total pressure difference you have written as P here. So that would be proportional to these things. What we can say, because they are in series, the rate of flow must be the same. So the rate of flow must be the same. That means V is going to be same across the two. So for the combination, what I can write in this particular case, now here What we can make it out now? The pressure difference you know is 1 by r ki power 4. So first one has a radius r, other has half. So what I can say, the pressure difference in the second one will become 16 times. So if this would be P naught, it will become 16 P naught, new pressure P naught, initial was P, and the final is across the combination of C, that means P naught becomes P by 17. So if we compare the first tube, in the first case the pressure was P, now it is P by 17. So pressure is 1 by 17, rest all are same, that means this P, I can directly say if all are same, is proportional to V. So if it has become 1 by 17, the volumetric flow rate will also become 1 by 17. So just remember this equation, Poiseuille's equation. Generally students don't remember, but just remember it. JEE Main has asked questions on this also. Next, the given quantity of ideal gas at pressure P and absolute temperature T, the isothermal bulk modulus. You know isothermal bulk modulus is P and adiabatic bulk modulus is gamma P. This is a direct result you can remember. Now, a slab of refractive index 1.5, thickness 3 cm is placed with the faces normal to the principal axis. If the radii of the curvature is 10, the distance at which an object must be placed so that the image coincides with the object. So for image to coincide with the object, I can say if I place it like this, you know, whenever you place this slab, this object will definitely, because of this refraction, bends here, goes there, so it will definitely shift towards the mirror. So I need this point to be C. So let's say this point, let's say this total distance to be x. So what is this shift? This shift you know is equal to T1 minus 1 by mu. So what you should have, x minus this shift T1 minus 1 by mu, that should be equal to the center of curvature distance, that is 10. So x should be 10 plus T into 1 minus 1 by mu. So put it 10 centimeter, 3, 1 minus 1 upon 1.5. So it is 10 plus 3 into, it would be 0.5 upon 1.5, that is 1 by 3, that is 1. So it would be 11 centimeters. So go for option C here. Next, two convex lenses of focal length 0.3, 0.05 are used to make a telescope. The distance kept between them to order the image at infinity, that is normal adjustment. L infinity, you know, for telescope is FO plus FE, so that would be 0.35 meter. That is the separation between them. That's an easy one if you know the basics of telescope. Next, a fan is switched off, angular velocity falls to half while it makes 36 rotation. How many rotations will it make before coming to rest? This is third time I remember it is coming. What I should do? The first two times I solved from the graph. Now I'll do from something else. Let's say like a linear motion or something, I can make it out. So let's say initial velocity was omega naught at t equal to 0, and by the time it becomes half, let's say this time is t naught. And because alpha is constant, time taken to go from omega naught to omega naught by 2 would be same as to go from omega naught to 0, so that would be t equals to 2t naught. Now in this duration, this delta t is 36 rotation. I have to find this delta theta dash here. So first, between these two, if I can directly say delta theta is average angular speed, that is omega naught plus omega naught by 2. You can do if alpha is constant into time, that is t naught. In the second case, delta theta dash would be this duration, so angular speed average would be omega naught by 0 by 2 into t naught. So divide it, you will get delta theta upon delta theta dash. This t naught goes, this will become 3 by 4, this is 1 by 4, so that is 3:1. So delta theta dash is delta theta by 3, that is, if that was 36 rotation, it is 12 rotations. Next one, a thin horizontal circular disc is rotating about a vertical axis passing through the center. Insect is at rest at a point near the rim. The insect now moves along a diameter to reach the other end. During the journey of the insect, again this is a repeated one, this is a question which has been asked in exams previously. So let's say the insect goes like this. So as this goes from A to B, first of all its separation from the O decreases, it becomes a minima. So from this point, let's say A to M, the moment of inertia will decrease, so omega will increase, and after that I will increase and omega will decrease, and finally omega will become same at A and B. So the omega will first increase and then decrease. Go for option C. Next, in an NPN transistor, collector current is 10, 90% of the electron emitted reaches the collector, then the emitter current will be, so this is 90% of emitter current is 10, so emitter current would be greater than this, so go for only 11, that is the feasible option. Otherwise what you can say, alpha is IC by IE, which is given here as 0.9, so IE would be IC upon 0.9, 10 upon 0.9, so it is 11.1 milliampere. You can go, so 11 is the most appropriate here. So that's an easy one, and the options are very simplified. If a LED is forward biased, then electron from the n-type side cross the p junction So what happens in any junction, you can do, let's say this is PN. So if you do this forward biasing like this, so the holes go from here, electrons go from N to P. So electrons from N side across the PN junction and recombine with holes in the P type side. Electrons and holes neutralize each other in depletion region. At junction remain at rest. None of these, so only option A is appropriate here. Next. The end of the two rods of different materials with their thermal conductivities, area of cross section, length, all in ratio 1:2 are maintained at same temperature difference. The rate of flow in the first rod is 4, the in second would be. So what we can say, rate of flow is Ka dt by dx or delta t by delta L, or uniform if I take, let me write it as delta t by L. So all ratio is 1/2, so H1 by H2 would be K1 by K2, same temperature difference, area of cross section A1 by A2, and it would be L2 by L1. So all in the ratio 1:2, 1:2, 1:2, this will become 2:1, so that is 1:2. So H1 by H2 is this. So if the first is 4, second you can say directly is going to be equal to 8 calorie per second. Next, the square root of the product of inductance and capacitance, that is root LC, that is a time period dimension. So we say that as a dimension of time. So you just remember this is the time constant of LC oscillations, so that has a dimensions of time, that you all remember. Next, the central fringe shifts to the position of fifth bright fringe if the thin film of refractive index 1.5 is introduced in the path. That means the shift introduced, that is 1.5 minus 1 into T, that is equal to 5 lambda. So that thickness is 5 lambda upon 0.5, that is 10 lambda, that is 5000 angstrom into 10. So that becomes 3 and 4, I can take out, this would be 5 micrometers. So go for option B here, it would be 5 micrometers. That's an easy one. Next, a linear aperture whose width is 0.02 is placed immediately in front of a lens of focal length 60. The aperture is illuminated normally by a parallel beam of this light. The distance of the first dark bend of the diffraction pattern is, so it is just a setup for diffraction. So the first dark bend from the center, you know, is equal to lambda L by A. So lambda is 5 into 10 to the power minus 5 centimeters, that is 10 to the power minus 2. Length is what we have, length we have focal length 60, so the screen will be at 60 centimeter, that would, you will take 60 into 10 to the power minus 2, and A is 0.02 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this goes, so this is 5 into 60, that is 300 into 10 to the power minus 7, and write it as 2 into 10 to the power minus 2. So it is 150 into 10 to the power minus 9, that is what we are getting. So I think I must have done something which should be not right. Lambda L by A I'm doing, so this is like this. So as per me, this option is this much only. Okay, actually I have done this mistake. This is minus 7 minus 2 10 to the power minus 5, so it is you can directly say 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter, or you can say 1.5 millimeter, so that is 0.15 centimeter. So answer is correct. So this is 0.15 centimeter here. Next, the displacement time graph for two waves 1 and 2 are shown. The ratio of the intensity of wave 1 to the wave 2 is, so what we know, intensity basically, if I talk about average intensity, that depends on omega square A square, that is basically what we talk about. So it is proportional to omega square A square, we know that is proportionality. So first for the wave 1, what we can see, I can say T1 is twice of T2, so what I can have, omega 1 is omega 2 by 2, and A1 is equal to thrice of A2. So I1 by I2 would be omega 1 by omega 2 square, that would be equal to 1 by 2 square, and this would be 3 by 1 square, that is 9:4. So go for option B here. So this would be the option B here. Next, an open pipe is suddenly closed at one end with the result that the frequency of the third harmonic of the closed pipe is found to be higher by 100 Hz than the fundamental frequency of the open pipe is. Okay, so open pipe and the third phase of fundamental of open we know is equal to V by 2L. Now it is closed, and the third harmonic of the closed one, so F3 of closed would be 3V by 4L. So and difference is 3V by 4L minus V by 2L is 100. So what we have, V by 4L is 100. So that means V by 2L fundamental frequency of open would be equals to 200 Hz. Again, it's a very common question. You must have done with the exact same data. Next, Last one now. Power given to a particle of 2 kg varies with time like this. The velocity at t equal to 0 is 0. The velocity at 2 seconds would be, so what you can say, kinetic energy would be p dt delta k. Initial was 0, so directly I can write kinetic energy at t equal to 2 seconds is integration from 0 to 2 3t square by 2 dt. So if I do this, this will come out as t cube by 2 from 0 to 2, that is 8 by 3, and this is half into 2 into v square. So v square comes out as 8 by 3. If I'm right, yes, v square comes out as 8 by 2, sorry, not 3. So 8 by 2, that is 4. So v comes out as 2 meter per second. So go for option C in this particular case. So velocity finally is 2 meter per second. So this was today's paper. I think this was one of the easier ones I have solved till now. You can check the analysis at the start. You must have seen by now. Thanks for watching. Keep sharing, keep subscribing to the channel. Thank you once again.